part of your DEF maintenance is really unclear to owner operators for Rolls-Royce, MTU, Deutz, Daimler, Detroit. So if you have a EPA 14 Detroit or newer, you got this airless dosing system, and even Cummins started using it in 2018 and newer on their single can systems. So if you're ever going to do maintenance on your DEF system, you replace the DEF filter in the pump. That is not enough, nowhere near enough, and actually you're just introducing more contaminants into the system. The other filter that you really need to replace is in the DEF dozer. And that DEF dozer, it's like a T25 or T27, 2 torque screws that you take out and you remove the flange that has the supply line and the return DEF line to that DEF dozer. Once you take that off, there's 2 connectors with O-rings, 4 O-rings on them, that you take out, and then you'll find a screen that's like a tan colored screen. You can take like a 90-degree pick and pull that sucker out. And if you end up with a fault code that is low DEF pressure, as 4374 FMI 0, I had this the other day in a crane, and this is actually the second time I came out for a different truck and replaced this DEF screen. The first time I did the RX kit and replaced the pressure relief valve and pressure the pump filter and replaced the inlet screen, the DEF pump, and the inlet screen, the DEF dozer. And that RX kit has all those components in there, and it costs a lot of money. And it's just, you're not going to do that on a maintenance. So when you get this fault code, it tells you to look for restricted DEF lines, kinked lines, and such like that. So and the troubleshooting itself, it says if the line is kinked, replace the line and continue on. It doesn't say anything about replacing a pressure relief valve that you would have in your RX kit. So don't worry about having to replace the pressure relief valve unless you really still have low DEF pressure after replacing this filter. So with that being said, you can actually get this part number from Cummins and just replace this screen. So if you're going to replace the DEF pump filter, go ahead and replace the filter like you would normally, but also replace the screen on the DEF dozer as well, because that screen, it's a Cummins part number, and it is 5372671. 5372671. So that comes with the adapters, the 2 adapters, the 4 O-rings, and the inlet screen. Unfortunately, it does not come with any BioLube. I would definitely suggest spraying some BioLube on those O-rings or DEF on them when you reassemble it, so that way, you know, it doesn't get kinked or whatever. O-ring doesn't get torn. And yeah, so you may have low DEF pressure and high pump speed. So low DEF pressure, like the one that I just saw, was 125 psi, and it should be about 140 psi. And then the pump speed was something around 2,700 RPM. And normal pump speed after I replaced that filter was back down to 1,100 RPM, which would be normal. There are definitely other causes, especially if this code is intermittent. You can have a plugged DEF tank vent line. You could have air coming in that could cause low pressure. There's many other causes, but the troubleshooting just straight up says replace the DEF pump. It has no mention of replacing the inlet screen to the DEF dozer. It has no mention of replacing the DEF dozer itself. That's where 4374 FMI 0. So if you have a GHG 14 or newer, GHG 17 uses the same airless dosing system. Like I said, Cummins also does the same thing. EPA 18 with the single can, they got the same setup, and MTU, Deutz, Mercedes, Rolls-Royce, if you have those engines, also you're gonna have the same DEF dozer on those, as long as it's an airless dozing system, which we've somewhat graduated to more recently on that side of off-road applications. So yeah, your maintenance, troubleshooting, that should wrap it up. Enjoy your days.